Madam Vice Chancellor, allow me to move to the next category. Could I request kindly those that I have called their names to stand to be appreciated in those three categories that I have read? Please stand wherever you are. Let's appreciate them, yes. There's one on this side, and thank you very much, Madam Vice Chancellor. We then move to the next category, Best Performing Departmental Examination Coordinators. And as I call out the name, please stand. The core business of the university, Madam Vice Chancellor, is teaching and examining students besides research and community outreach. So this is one of the core business, and I believe these are the people not reflected by missing marks in their departments. First position is Dr. Elijah Gitonga, Department of Recreational Management and Exercise Science. Please stand. Yes, he's there, he's there. The second position, Dr. Monica Muna, Department of Environmental Sciences. Third position, Dr. Aaron Badha Mbuvi, Department of Chemistry. Fourth, Lee Gugi Kigera, Medical Physiology. Fifth, Monica Wandolo, Hospitality and Management Science. The sixth position, Dr. Elizabeth Andongo, Department of Music and Dance. Please remain standing for the time being as I move to the seventh position, Dr. Lucy Kamau, Zoological Sciences. And the eighth position, Lefinsik Mutinda Ndivo, Department of Tourism Management. Dr. Bula Anna, Business Administration. And finally, 10th position, Dr. Mary Baru, Department of Environmental Studies and Community Development. Those are the 10 leading departmental examination coordinators. Again, collectively, let's appreciate them. Allow me, Madam Vice Chancellor, to move to the next category of Best Performing Directors of Centers and Units within the university. 4 directors were right at the top, but led by Dr. Lucy Maina, Director, Institute of Peace and Security Studies. Dr. Lucy Maina. Second position, Dr. Dina Tumuti, Director, COEP. Third position, Dr. Felista Juguna, Director, Kenyatta University Regional Capacity Development. Kindly stand and remain standing as I read the last one. Dr. Ruth Dungu, Director, Accommodation Services, at the time this assessment was done. Let's appreciate those 4 for a job well done. Madam Vice Chancellor, allow me to move to another category with the 3 candidates to be honored, Best Performing Directors of Campuses. And at the top of that list is Mr. Francis Kiarie, Director, Mombasa Campus. Followed by Dr. John Muriuki, Nakuru Campus. And finally, Dr. Edward Kigen, Ruiru Campus. Dr. Kigen is to the extreme end, Madam Vice Chancellor. The other directors are busy with their staff today at their campuses, and we appreciate what they are doing in those campuses. Madam Vice Chancellor, allow me to move to yet another category with 10 candidates to be appreciated and awarded today. Best performing chairman of departments. I believe this is the core of business in the university. And leading in the first position is Dr. W. Joroge, Physics Department. Second position, Dr. Jane Mugwe, Department of Agricultural Resource Management. And the third position, Dr. Mary Mutungi, Department of Tourism Management, is Dr. Alice Odigi, School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. Followed in the second position by Professor Agina, Dean, School of Medicine. And the third position goes to Professor Kabiru, Dean, School of Public Health. Madam Vice Chancellor, some persons are being named more than once. No wonder their performance is good. At this point, Madam Vice Chancellor, allow me to read the list of exemplary performance awards. And after this, there will only be one more category. The exemplary performance awards were explained by the Vice Chancellor earlier on, how an effort to get those individuals from departments and sections was done. And allow me to read. The total number is 113. And I'll begin with Professor Paul Okemo, Dean, Graduate School. Professor Chris Shisanya, School of Humanities and Social Sciences. Professor James Kungu, Dean, School of Environmental Studies. Professor Robert Murungi, Director, Public and Staff Complaints Office. Professor Singh, Director, Timetabling and Unit Scheduling. Professor Elishiba Kimani, Associate Dean, Graduate School. Professor Okello Agina, Dean, School of Medicine. Professor Nelson Wawire, School of Economics. Professor Washeke Wanjoy, School of Agriculture and Enterprise Development. Professor Kisovi, Chairman, Geography Department. Professor Nyambaka, Chairman, Chemistry Department. Professor Caleb Mireri, Department of Environmental Planning and Management. Professor Bernard Giea, Department of Agribusiness Management and Trade. Professor Paul Bugwa, Director, Disability Services Office. Dr. Nelson Karagu, Registrar, Finance and Development, Member of Management. Dr. Ndanje Mwisua, School of Applied Human Sciences. Mr. Gerard Averu, School of Business. And Mr. Mwinzi, Zuki Mwinzi, School of Law. We have Dr. Beatrice Digolo, Dean, School of Visual and Performing Arts. Dr. Margaret Geshaga, Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies. Dr. Phyllis Mwangi, Chair, English and Linguistics. Dr. John Mugubi, Theatre Arts and Film Technology. Dr. Tabitha Wangeri, Educational Psychology Department. Dr. M. Gisheru, Zoological Sciences. Dr. Njoroge, Physics Department. Dr. Sophie Ochola, Food, Nutrition and Dietetics. Mrs. Elizabeth Abani, Department of Nursing. Dr. Ifon Idun, Public Law. Dr. Jane Mugwe, Agricultural Resource Management. Dr. Margaret Keraka, Environmental Health. Dr. Leah Wajama, Gender and Development Studies. Dr. Alphonse Wanyonyi, School of Pure and Applied Sciences, Senior Lecturer. Dr. Lucy Maina, Institute of Peace and Security Studies. Dr. Enli Wanjara, Lecturer, Department of Music and Dance. Dr. Isabella Kamere, Department of Educational Foundations. Dr. Samuel Waweru, Associate Dean, School of Education. Mr. Paul Sang, Associate Dean, School of Business. Dr. Washington Diri, Department of History, Archaeology and Political Studies. Dr. Esther Bivi, Literature Department. Dr. Daniel Muhia, Sociology Department. Dr. Beatrice Kadhungu, Psychology Department. Dr. Daniel Mudhe, Library and Information Science. Dr. David Buru, Department of Biochemistry and Biotechnology. Dr. M. Gadhara, Department of Plant Sciences. Dr. Isaiah Omosa, Civil Engineering Department. Dr. Jeremiah Kiplangat, Department of Energy Engineering. Engineer Peter Okaka, Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering Department. Mr. George Maina, Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Dr. Esther Kitur, Environmental Sciences Department. Dr. Jane Mutinda, Environmental Studies and Community Development. Dr. Daniel Manguriu, Environmental Education Department. Dr. Yasmin Goodwin, Department of Physical Education and Health Sciences. Dr. Jane Kamau, Recreation Management and Exercise Sciences Department. Dr. George Ogweno, Medical Physiology Department. Dr. Philip Wangiru, Pharmacy and Complementary Alternative Medicine Department. Dr. Margaret Muturi, Medical Laboratory Department. Dr. Joshua Mwangi, Department of Surgery and Orthopedics. Dr. Florence Okwara, Department of Pediatrics and Child Health. Dr. Stephen Mwathe, Business Administration Department. Dr. Gladys Kimutai, Management Science Department. Mr. Francis Kiarie, Director Mombasa Campus. Dr. Peris Onono, Applied Economics. Dr. Mukiri Wangathendu, Agricultural Science Technology. Dr. John Oyore, Community Health Department. Dr. Ochieng Otieno, Health Management and Informatics Department. Dr. Michael Katola, Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies. Dr. Gary Ajieko, Department of English and Linguistics. Dr. Iwona Ondogo, School of Visual and Performing Arts. Dr. Charles Mangoma, Department of Educational Management, Policy and Curriculum Studies. Dr. Francis Kirimi, Department of Educational Foundations. Dr. Naomi Noah, Department of Chemistry. Dr. Lydia Mujuguna, Department of Mathematics. Dr. Ezekiel Mungendi Jeru, Department of Microbiology. Felista Juguna, Regional Capacity for Center for Capacity Development. The last 30, Professor Charles Mongare, Environmental Planning and Management Department. Florence Mima, Educational Communication and Technology. Joseph Kurauka, Environmental Studies and Community Development Department. Dr. Joroge, Chief University Librarian. Mr. Jonas Wambua, Deputy Finance Officer in charge of expenditure. Mr. Kenneth Joroge of the Center for Career Development and Placement, Mr. John Thuku, Chief University Librarian, Deputy Chief of the University Library, Ms. Janet Mudhimi of the Vice Chancellor's Office, Mr. Daniel Kimondo of the Quality Management Systems and Performance Contracts, Mr. Henry Kamau of the ICT Department, Mr. Njeru Billy Gasheru in the University Architect's Office, Lucy Njenga in the Council Matters section, Ms. Susan Dichu in the Vice Chancellor's Office, Ms. Teresa Kimondo in the Quality Management Systems and Performance Contracts, Mr. James Mungambi of the Examinations Administration section, Mr. Charles Ouma of Senate Affairs section, Mr. Samuel Ebore of the Geography Department, Faith Ngatuma, School of Environmental Studies, Jonathan Rotich, Department of Recreation, Management and Exercise Science, Josephine Kamau, Human Anatomy, Collins Koyo, Kenyatta University Television and Radio Services, Phoebe Nalwa, Disability Services Office, Naomi Nyakundi of the Council Matters section, Elijah Waweru of the Public Relations Office, Francis Mwaniki of the Vice Chancellor's Office, Anne Chandamba, Special Needs Education Department, Mary Okello, Admissions Section, John Kamau, Telephone Services, Doreen Guy, Accommodation Services, and from the campuses, before the campuses, serial number 105, Ali Barisa, Music and Dance, Nancy Wambui, Fashion Design and Marketing, Angelina Kimeu, Econometrics and Statistics Department, Asa Amkaya, E-Learning in the Digital E-Learning Directorate, Gabriel Amos Muya, Central Services, Wycliffe Misango, Ground Section, Moses Odoyo, Transcripts, Graduation and Certificates Section, Lucy Mudhoni Mwangi, KUCC Restaurant, Stephen Boroki of Admissions, and the last one from the Kenyatta University Funeral Home is Diba Bariso. Diba Bariso is the last one in that category of exemplary performance. Let's appreciate all of them. Madam Vice Chancellor, we now move to the category of the Extra Mile Awards.
And the first one is Registrar Academics Office, Mr. Jasper Mureithi. He goes extra hours to complete urgent tasks and helps in the coordination of office duties when the registrar is away. Very hardworking and definitely goes the extra mile. Dr. Mio Kachoka, many programs were introduced in the department under her tenure as chairperson, and is Kenyatta University. The reason why she was selected, Kenyatta University is the only university in Agrophone Africa that is a member of Agence University Francophone, an organization which is very key, and she made it possible for us to be registered there. Professor David Mija, he is the pillar of the department and teaches 3 core courses, but most importantly, he was very key in the development of the Master of Leadership and Governance curriculum, which we are going to start soon. Anthony Godo, Fine Art Department, goes the extra mile to ascertain students' exhibitions for exams are carried out satisfactorily, and was nominated by the Fine Art Department. School of Education, Dr. Crispus Koinange, always being very hardworking regarding exams. I think those people who are in Senate know that. The other is Dr. Migwe of Physics. He is the one who chairs the PAC, the Promotion and Appraisal Committee, going the extra mile to make sure that that work is done over and above his teaching duties. Dr. Mire Mutugi of Tourism Department. Dr. Mutugi is the one who is in charge of the committee chairing the hospital work on hospitality, catering, and also front desk. A lot of work that she has done to make sure that the hospital committee looking at those issues are done, and that is really over and above her call of duty as a chairman of department. Dr. Susan Hinga, also very key in the hospital committee, in almost all the committees, making sure that the protocols of the new coming hospital, protocols and systems are in place. Dr. Paul Gachaja is a person who has been behind the negotiations for the hostels that we are going to start building in January, the hostels for 10,000 students. He's the one who has been negotiating with the contractor for the last 6 months, really going outside his call of duty. Gideon Mutua of the council, or used to be council, but now he is in the performance contract office. He is also a course secretary to the Kenyatta University Teaching, Research and Referral Hospital. Michael Ajama from security, he worked tirelessly during the students' riot on 14th and 15th to make sure that the university did not close. Internal audit, Dunstan Lilodo, also very hardworking and outstanding performance in the audit section. Kenyatta University Funeral Home, Jacob Sikura Bai. He is naturally identified by staff members to act as the superintendent and really a critical player in that place. Dr. Muidi, is that all? I thought there was some more. This is up to you. The other one is Professor Frederick Graveny. Professor Graveny has been really doing more than he needs to do as a DVC, going the extra mile, making sure the hospital committees, the Unicity committees, he's almost everywhere. Professor, you go the extra mile, we want to thank you. Professor Fatuma Chege, also we would want to honor her for going the extra mile. Professor is very key in some of the papers we've been able to present to do with education, just working hard and going the extra mile. Professor Geranwa also has gone the extra mile. Professor Geranwa is the one who chaired a very important committee that helped us to come up with mechanisms of dealing with the bed bugs. And Professor I even sent him to Germany to go and look for those machines. And I'm happy to see that the machines are already on campus. So the issue of bed bugs is a thing of the past. Thank you, Professor Geranwa, for that. And many other things he has done. He is the one who coordinated the group that did the research that gave us 210 million to train professors in physics and chemistry. Thank you, Prof. Dr. Nyaga, the registrar academic, also goes the extra mile, especially in issues to do with academics. And also Dr. Muidi, the registrar who was here, Registrar Divine, also goes the extra mile, particularly in university investigations, very, very hardworking. Dr. Richard Wafula, Chairman Kiswahili Department, also goes the extra mile, was voted by many people as a hardworking chairman of department. Engineer Martin Zomo also worked very hard to make sure that we are almost being accredited. The engineering programs are almost being accredited, and has worked very hard to get the required staff members on board. Dr. Anthony Wanyoro, very, very key in chairing a committee, the hospital committee, that is dealing with protocols and systems. They were able to prepare, I think, 123 protocols. A lot of work done by Dr. Wanyoro and his committee. Thank you, Dr. Wanyoro, for going the extra mile. Our hardworking dean, Dr. Edwin Gimonde, also, the director of student affairs, goes the extra mile to make sure that the students are peaceful. It's a person I call all the odd hours, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., to make sure that the university is okay. The next one is Dr. Cairo. Dr. Cairo from the careers office. You have seen how careers has become a big issue in the university, and Dr. Cairo and her colleague there, Mr. Joroge, I think, who has been given exemplary performance, also goes the extra mile. Dr. Ferris Kiruthu also goes the extra mile, especially in the public policy and administration department, to make sure that that program stays competitive, because we have a lot of competition from other universities. Dr. Francis Kaguru went the extra mile to make sure that we have the statue that is in front of this building. Dr. Kaguru spent many, many nights in Kiambu trying to make sure that the statue is completed. I don't know whether he's here. Maybe. Dr. Kaguru even went for 2 or 3 days without sleeping. I want to thank you for that. I think Dr. Mary Mutugi has been mentioned. Dr. Hig has been mentioned. Dr. Bosibori Oigo. Dr. Bosibori Oigo is chairing the hospital committee that is dealing with uniforms that the nurses and the doctors will be wearing. And they have been doing a very, very good job, working long hours to make sure that we have very nice uniforms, which are really good to keep the standard of the university. Dr. Lucy Kaduri Ogora went the extra mile, especially in the preparation of baby care center. She's a person who was involved with that, and that is really over and above her duties. Dr. Rhoda Gitoga is really somebody who is very hardworking. The reason why we thought of her is because she actually does her own research on the open learning so that she can tell us the problems we are facing. And she does this without asking us for money. I normally just see a report saying, this is what the students are saying, this is what we need to do. Really going the extra mile. Dr. Edwin Keegan goes the extra mile, especially to make Ruiru Campus Center of Excellence. I don't know whether he's gone. Dr. Keegan, thank you very much for going the extra mile. Dr. Peter Karaja of Kitui Campus. Dr. Peter Karaja is even known to take students to hospital in his own vehicle if there's a problem with the vehicle, and many other things he does and goes the extra mile. Dr. Waboi Waboro goes the extra mile, especially on the hospital. She's in charge of the partnerships, and she does a lot of work in most committees to make sure that the hospital that we are building is up and running in October. And Dr. Justin Murani, also in addition to performance contract, goes the extra mile to make sure that the performance contract work is done, ISO certification, and many other things he does which are beyond his call of duty. Dr. Isaiah Oyugi, coordinator, KU Entertainment, also goes the extra mile to make sure that we are all happy. Where is Dr. Oyugi? He does that without complaining and always with a smile, and works very hard. The next one is Mr. James Kaime, in charge of certificates, works very, very hard behind the scenes to make sure that all the certificates are printed and in time of graduation. Really a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that those certificates are ready. Mr. Peter Gedenji goes the extra mile because he is the one who designs the calendars you are going to get today, also the desk calendars, does a lot of work without complaining, and those calendars are never late. He makes sure that they are never late, Mr. Gedenji, together with your team. Mr. Joseph Getahi also does a lot of extra work, and this is despite the challenges Mr. Getahi has been facing the last 2 years, we all know, and I want to thank you, Mr. Getahi, for still going that extra mile, regardless of the personal challenges that you are facing. Mr. Anthony Babu, also ICT director, has turned around ICT director to make sure that KU actually was voted the best ICT, applying university in higher education, thanks to Anthony. Ms. Damaris Jage, head creditor section finance. As I said earlier on, Damaris is one person who made sure that the university stayed afloat when we had financial challenges after paying that big amount of money. So Damaris and also Andrew Macharia, head again, treasury in finance, both of them worked very hard together with their colleagues in finance, but the two really gave the leadership. Mr. Jack Jaraba, the project manager, though he is fairly new in the university, really made sure that we complete the buildings that were being opened by various people, working 24 hours, sometimes without sleeping. Sometimes I would come in the morning and tell me I have not slept, and I really felt that he went the extra mile. And Mr. Isaac Mwagi of my office also went the extra mile. As you know, Isaac, Isaac, as you know, did the works very hard. He's the one, together with myself,